Take your seats. We're going to go ahead and begin today. Let's start our meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll please join me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to see you all here today. I want to welcome you out. We've got some exciting news today and some exciting recognition. Let's start first with a roll call, please, Joan.
Chris Mortensen.
Here.
Charles Long. Michael Shaw.
Here.
Priscilla Benali.
Here.
Kevin Mitchell.
All right, we have a quorum, so we'll go ahead and get started. I will entertain a motion to approve today's agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please, Joan.
Miss Benali.
Yes.
Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes. All right, our first section here is the exciting news. We're going to start out with some recognition of some outstanding performances in our school district, and I'll turn the time over to Mr. Hyatt for that.
President Mortensen, members of the board, we are excited today for several recognitions, but first and foremost, becoming a staple in our school board meetings every year for the Gallup High School girls softball team, who again went to the state championship, very successful. We're super proud of them. They fought their way back in the brackets, and we're extremely proud. It was a tough fight, but they made it back to the state championship, and we're super excited for them. Want to recognize them here today. Mr. Chavez.
Thank you very much, President Mortensen, Superintendent Hyatt, members of the board. Again, it is a pleasure to be able to announce some of our student athletes who went above and beyond and really shined this year. Like Superintendent Hyatt said, to get down into that loser's bracket and to battle your way back, that shows a lot of guts and character. And I want you guys always to remember for the rest of your lives and your careers, you're representing yourselves, your family, your community, and there's not a lot of people in the state that can say that they played in a state championship game. So hold your heads up high and be proud. Continue to build on that. What we'll do is we'll call you up. If you'll come up, shake the board member's hand, and then players stay up here for a couple of pictures afterwards. All right. First player, Rayanna Chi. Jamie Watson. Jayla Green. Stephanisha Charlie. Kael Blackgoat. Tierra James. Crystal Marufo. Leah So. Mackenzie Nota. Victoria Zarate. Madison Martinez. Yanaba Harvey. Lanelle Nota. Odessa Harvey. Jasmine Marufo. Brenna Basenti. Morgan Balone. Shania Haynes. Viviana Aleman. Manager Bradley Joe. Assistant John Green. Assistant Dwayne Chi. Assistant Mariah Marufo. Assistant Filmer Martinez. Assistant Chris Balone. Assistant Adrian Marufo. And finally, head coach William Haynes. All right, girls, if you guys will swing around up here, girls, coaches, get in front of the school board so we can get some pictures. Next up, we would like to recognize some student athletes from Crown Point. We had one exceptional athlete from Crown Point that was the 2023 NMAA State Track Girls Shot Put State Runner-Up and the 2023 Girls Discus State Champion. Very, very humbling, and I'm very proud to announce Mikel Castillo. Good job. Don't throw him. You can't do it without the people that spend all the time and effort coaching them. I'd like to recognize Assistant Coach Spencer Font. Assistant Coach Leah Cohn. And head coach Cynthia Font. Congratulations again, Crown Point Eagles. And finally, last but certainly not least, when they start the construction of the new school, I'm telling them they need to build a bigger space for the trophies and awards. We've got Tohatchee High School. And we had athletes from Tohatchee High School that finished state runner-up in the 1600 medley relay. So at this time, I'd like to recognize Hayden Yazi, Rodney Joe, Jared Peterson, Brayley Dufania, and he's already standing up there, but we also had a state champion, 2023 800-meter state champion, Jared Peterson. Couldn't do it without the outstanding dedication from the coaches. Let's start with assistant coach Lionel Livingston. And a state champion head coach, Dion John.
There's more.
As members of the board, we're going to do, because of limited space, we're going to have the group that just got recognized exit. And we're excited to have our Skills USA
Congratulations.
and Career Pathway Student Ambassadors and Business Professionals of America students come into the boardroom. There's several recognitions for them. All of them that were in that room. We can fit them in here. Might need some more chairs.
No apologies.
President Mortensen, members of the board, we are super excited also to recognize some individual students and staff who have done a great job at preparing our students in career pathway work. And part of our two groups that compete, a part of that work is Skills USA and Business Professionals of America. We've had several students that have been successful from our district as we have expanded and worked hard to meet the board's goal of providing career pathway opportunities. This is part of that work. And you heard from some of those students earlier today. You'll hear from some more here in a few minutes. But we want to show our appreciation, how proud of them we are as these students have gone and competed locally, and some are going nationally to compete against other schools and other students across America. And so we are extremely proud of our students and the work that they've done, what they've accomplished so far. And we also have here with us our Career Pathway Student Ambassadors. As you know, there's a few weeks ago, we started giving tours of our district to people from the outside that want to come see the work that's being done here in Gallup McKinley County Schools. The things that we're doing as a school district and staff to help prepare students with their employability skills, their exploration of careers, and actually preparing them with skills to not only meet the demands of the profession, but also to help them be productive citizens in society and also in their school. And so we wanted to recognize those students that helped to be ambassadors and to showcase their work in different ways to people from the outside and also people from inside the district and parents and families. And so secondly, after we had recognized the Business Professionals of America and Skills USA, we'd also like to invite them up and recognize the students that have showcased our district so well and done a great job representing what we are doing here and the vision of Gallup McKinley County Schools. Mr. Wade Bell.
Thank you, Superintendent Hyatt, Mr. Mortensen, members of the board. At this point, we are going to give the rightful recognition to our Career Technical Student Organization winners at the regional, the state, and national conferences, starting with the Business Professionals of America winners. The regional conference was held last December, the state conference last February, and the most anticipated event, the national, last April. The following students are from Rama High School, Business and Welding, Austin Closton. His skill was interview skills. From Business, Rama High School, interview skills, Keali Lalio. Business from Rama High School for advanced interview skills, Kiefer Clausen. Business from Rama High School, advanced interview skills, Landon Weller. Business from Tohatchee High School, advanced word processing, Casey Begay. Business from Tohatchee High School for intro to word processing, Tian Claw. For business for Tohatchee High School, for advanced word processing, desktop publishing, and for design, the BPA State Pin for New Mexico, Kadeen Capitan. From Rama High School for business and welding, Shauna Grassi for the advisor. From Tohatchee High School for business, LaDanian Johnson for intermediate processing. Congratulations to all of our BPA winners. Let's give them one more round of applause. Now let's recognize our Skills USA winners at the state level, which was held in April. Two of our student winners at the state level qualify for nationals, which will be held in Atlanta, Georgia this coming June. First of all, for extemporaneous speaking, the gold, Mohammed Fakron from Crown Point High School. Congratulations. For welding sculpture, silver, Marian Phillips, Crown Point High School. For gold in welding sculpture, Isaiah Tom from Gallup High School. For silver in medical terminology, Isabel Cabas from Thoreau High School. For silver in a prepared speech, Madison Lee from Thoreau High School. For silver in cabinetry, Ryan Emerson from Thoreau High School. So we have 3 that were in a group, and they won the chapter display, the silver. Isaiah Pisano, Alexander Garcia Barnes, and Malaya Nez, all from Thoreau High School. For the bronze in welding fabrication, Xavier Lopez, Gallup High School. For the bronze in welding fabrication from Gallup High School, Joey Hosting. The bronze for welding fabrication from Gallup High School, Christian Bitsy. Our advisors for Skills USA, Jeff Taylor, Gallup High School. From Crown Point High School, Psyche Reed. From Crown Point High School, Peace Tenedo. Advisors for Thoreau High School, Nadine Delgarito Gordon. Roger Willie and Andrew Gordon. The Chapter Distinction Award goes to Thoreau High School. And now time for pictures. We're doing one more swap.
All right, thank you guys. So just the ambassador. You've been an ambassador. So, Skills USA, you were a student ambassador from Peru, Pioneer Gallup High. Thank you all. Thank you.
So President Mortensen, members of the board, we have our last group, our student ambassadors. The College and Career Department has hosted several events in the last few months. Two of these events are the Executive Council for Project Lead the Way, one of the pathway curricula companies that we use in the district. The other was the Grant Makers for Education study tour of rural New Mexico. During these visits, these groups visited several schools and toured the pathway classes. These students spoke and represented their schools and pathways. They had the opportunity to showcase their pathway and CT experiences. We also have 11 student ambassadors that spoke and inspired attendees in the Greater Gallup Economic Development Corporation week-long conference held earlier this month. These students spoke during the workforce training program, and the student ambassadors, we thank you for inspiring us and our community. So without further ado, once they sit, we will start this group. So these will be certificates of recognition. Our first one goes to Adriana Cook at Gallup High School. Destiny Rosetta from Gallup High School. Isaiah Tom, Gallup High School. Jamie Bahi, Gallup High School. J.C. Pacenti, Gallup High School. Jasmine Garcia, Gallup High School. Jeremiah Jose, Gallup High School. Jordan Estrada, Gallup High School. Kirsten Wilson, Gallup High School. Xavier Lopez, Gallup High School. Xavier Stevens, Gallup High School. Adam Harvey, Miyamura High School. Jerome Zapeta, Miyamura High School. Caston Babalu, Miyamura High School. Kanilaya Kilgore. Marty Roanhorse, Miyamura High School. Megan James, Miyamura High School. Richard Walker, Miyamura High School. Chanel Dazen, Miyamura High School. Alyssa Pisano, Theroux High School. Christian Gishi, Theroux High School. Lydia Emerson, Theroux High School. Malaya Nez, Theroux High School. Raylando Chinsilla, Theroux High School. Raylando Chinchilla. Very good. Raylana Estrada, Theroux High School. Tristan Martinez, Theroux High School. Tyrus Delgarito, Theroux High School. Caden Capitan, Tohatchee High School. Kaylee Sosi, Tohatchee High School. Elizabeth Anderson, Theroux High School. Kiefer Clausen, Rama High School. Austin Clausen, Rama High School. Cedric Laughing, Navajo Pine High School. Ian Castaneda, Miyamura High School. Eli John, Gallup High School. Dylan Chapito, Gallup High School. Mohammed Fakran, Crown Point High School. And that concludes our list. Thank you to the board. Give them one more round of applause as they squish in.
That part, yeah.
Mr. Mortensen? Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sitting with us through that. That is what we live for. We love to see our kids succeed. Heaven help the world after graduation. Those guys, every single one of them, the athletes and the award winners, all of them, they're like they're fired out of a cannon, and I'm pretty excited to see and hear what they do. Ms. Benali, you had something for us?
Yes, Mr. Martinson. I just got a message from Kevin. He's out of town, but he wanted to give a shout out to the students, and he also said congratulations to our athletes from the district, but we all know that his heart is always a Tohatchi Cougar, but he wanted to extend and say congratulations to all our student athletes, our Teams USA, and also to the BPA.
Perfect. Well, tell him to drive safely, and we'll see him at the next meeting. The next section of our meeting here is approval of the minutes. Item number 3. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes of May 1st, 2023, the regular meeting.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second, sir.
Roll call, please, Joan.
Ms. Benali?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen?
Yes. Next item is approval of our consent agenda. I'll hear a motion to approve items A, B, C, D, E, F, and G.
I'll make a motion, sir, to approve consent item agenda A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
All right.
Second.
Second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Benali?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen?
Yes. All right, we're cooking right along here. The next section of our agenda today is study circle. And I believe, do we have any public comment today?
President Mortensen, we do have one public comment.
Perfect.
So
All
I'd like to invite Ms. Whitney James for 3 minutes.
Welcome to the meeting.
Thank you.
Is that down there? You need some help with that thing?
I don't know, I'm loud, so either way, can you hear
Just
me?
belt it out.
I'll just belt.
Yeah.
My name is Whitney James, and I'm the parent advisor from Turpin Elementary. Thank you for giving me a few minutes. After seeing the proposed schedule for next school year, there were a few concerns that were brought to my attention by some staff and several parents. And I understand, and they do, I'm sure, that so much goes into making these schedules, and there's many factors. But they expressed a concern, and they asked that I would come and talk to you. Yep, can you hear me now? Thanks.
It's just so it picks it up online.
Yeah, oh, online. I have an audience. Got it.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, so the first one would be the 75-minute delay on Thursday and Fridays instead of the previous early out on Friday. I'm assuming that is the reason for that. The concerns that came up with many of the parents at our school are working parents, and so they would have an inability to leave work and then get their children to school. Same with some of the staff as well, who would have to be there earlier, obviously as staff, that while they were trying to do their data entry and they're prepping for classes, that we would, as a result of parents leaving to work early, dropping their children off ahead of the school start date. Oh, goodness. It just doesn't like me, the microphone. Anyway, that they would have students there early that staff would then have to attend to instead of doing the prep that was needed, and those hours are for. The other issue that was brought up is how it would affect the SPED program and the SPED students. I don't know if you are familiar with those programs. Not all of the students there. Myself, having a child who has an IEP for SPED for different concerns and needs, a lot of children, especially on the autism spectrum, changes in schedule drastically affect their learning environment. Early out Fridays is something that is tricky to adapt to for those students. Then you would put 2 days that a schedule would flip. The staff member who worked with SPED, who I discussed it with, said her concern is on Fridays, they at least start normally and have their schedule go as outlined as the other days, and they give them this motivation, but after lunch, it's time to go. If you start the day later, her concern was it throws their schedules off from the beginning. So that was a concern she also brought up. And then the length of the proposed year, starting on August 3rd and ending on June 6th. Not one parent I talked to and other staff members, and I know they have the union to represent them, liked this idea. And I know there are also several reasons that go into that. I know there is a lot of learning loss that has happened because of COVID, and there are children who need, whose parents are working and need help during the summertime. There was a lot of parents wondering why maybe summer school could fulfill a need for kids who needed a place to be during the summer. And the idea that I know I have multiple children in school, after a certain point of testing in May, not that nobody's learning, but there's a lot of just filler time for students. I have a child who came home from school about a week and a half ago who has no filter, and she said, well, that's it, I'm down to 2 teachers even signing study work. And I said, okay, and they're doing a lot of makeup work and things like that before the end of the year, but it's already filler time towards the end of May and June. And so to add more weeks to that seems a little excessive, is what I've heard from parents. And also for kids just there, I looked at some other school districts' schedules, and they had, like Santa Fe, for instance, they start later in August. I believe they start on the 15th, and they get out by May 30th, I believe. So the kids have a little bit extra time for their summer. They just seem to be getting shorter and shorter. And I understand, but looking at their schedule, they did not add the extra 10 days. They had 175 days, and we had 185. So that's just from the parents that I visited with from our school and others. They really were disheartened by the added 10 days. And just working parents was a concern. I know every school has a different demographic, but our school has several working parents and staff who also had concerns about leaving their children unattended until they would arrive at their own schools. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate your comment today. Is there any other public comment today? None? Okay, our next section is the superintendent report. And for that, of course, we'll turn the time over to Mr. Hyatt.
President Mortensen, members of the board, many of you, actually all of you, were in the meeting prior to this meeting where we met with Career Pathway students to hear about their experience in high school. And so we wanted to have a few of those students stay with us and talk a little bit about the same thing, for the most part, to the public and to this open meeting about their experience in career pathway work at their high school. As you know, members of the board, this is part of your strategic plan for Elevate 2022 and Elevate 2025. And this work is important to us because we are, again, working to prepare our students for their future and to give them experiences prior to graduation where they can explore careers, learn skills, employability skills, maybe find a path, maybe find a career or get experience in a career to find out if they like it or not. But a variety of experiences so that it's not something that's just put off until after graduation. We're no longer thinking about graduation as the finality for the school district, but again, this continuum of helping students prepare for their futures. And so we would like to invite all four of them up to the microphone. And Ms. Keeler, did you have some instructions for them? I'll turn the time over to Ms. Keeler, who helps us in our career pathway efforts, and she'll give a little bit more detail.
So thank you. We have 4 seniors that we've invited up here today to give just a short.
3 seniors, 1 junior. 3 seniors, 1 junior, is
sorry.
that correct?
You're junior, sorry. 3 seniors and 1 junior. Here to speak for their career pathways, their experiences, their BPA or CTSO opportunities with Skills USA, or their student internship. So they have something they'd like to share with you in addition to what we did today.
Hi everybody, my name is Kiefer Clausen. I'm a senior at Rhema High School. I am graduating this year. I was able to have different opportunities throughout my high school career. I was in different pathways. I was in a health pathway called PLTW where I learned about the different anatomy of human bodies and I learned how to label those body parts. I've also been in the business pathway where I had an opportunity to participate in BPA, which is Business Professionals of America. I had the opportunity to compete in interviewing skills, and as I competed, I went to the regional level, and then I went to the state level, and then I got to the national level. As I competed there, I learned how to network with different kids from other states. We had this kind of inside thing where we would trade pins from different states, and we'd put them on our lanyards, and it was a lot of fun. It was a good experience. We were able to go to Anaheim, California, so it was different because I am from Little Raymond, New Mexico, so it was not something that I'm very used to. And then I also had the opportunity to have a internship at the Humane Society here in Gallup. That was something that I really liked, as I want to go into the vet field. I like animals. I like to take care of them, so I was able to kind of get a taste of what that would be like. And it was a good opportunity for me. I was able to learn how to work hard and stay busy. I was able to learn how to work with other people in the workforce and have coworkers and work together, so that was a really good opportunity. So I'd like to thank my advisor, Shauna Grassi, for helping me throughout my high school career. She's also my aunt, so that helps. And I'd like to thank the district for giving me those opportunities, and yeah, thank you.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Like Kiefer said, thank you. I really do. Can I take this microphone off by any chance?
Sure.
All right, so I'd really like to thank you guys, thank the board, and thank you for what you guys are doing for me. I really do appreciate everything. But the question was, what is my experience? You know, I'm currently Skills USA, New Mexico's golden medalist in experience speaking. I know I may have said that wrong, but it's given me a lot of hope. I'm going to be representing Crown Point. Not only Crown Point, but GMCS and New Mexico on a national level in end of July in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm very much excited. But my career path was engineering, and the reason why I chose engineering is because my family's history, they're all engineers. So it kind of felt right for me to become an engineer. But also, you know, what else comes natural to me is speaking. So I wanted to apply both. Now, recently, Skills USA funded my project showcase in Crown Point, where I made a on-demand hot water called Res Dreams. And basically, with this Res Dreams, you have on-demand hot water. We have a whole new plumbing system that I just made and used my engineering skills. So, I mean, if you guys were there, you guys would see how well I presented it. I feel like I presented very well, executed it very well, sold it very well. I mean, maybe Mr. Hyatt wants me to sell his cars, you know, but the moral of the story is I've got experience, you know, finally I feel appreciated, and I want to thank each one of you guys, and I want to thank my English teacher, Diana Crastone. Everyone give her a round of applause. She's the best English teacher in the district.
All right, that was a tough act to follow. Okay. My name is Ian Galino Castañeda. I'm a graduating senior, and I participated in the School of Biomedical Sciences at Hiroshi Miyamura High School across the street. And I found the program to be overwhelmingly beneficial and positive to how I've developed over the last 4 years. It developed a foundation for me that I will now be using as I pursue a degree in chemistry at NMSU this next year, hoping to get into pre-pharmacy. I was part of the internship program. I interned as a doctor shadow following around Dr. Andrade at Family Medicine, and I found it a very enlightening experience. As I had mentioned earlier today when I was doing another event, that I fell in love with the science. I fell in love with helping people. I fell in love with the medical career. When I started as a freshman, I did it off of a whim. I joined the program because I thought it would be cool, and over the course of the 4 years, I found myself becoming more and more invested into it and wanting to understand everything about it more completely. And Miss Scott, shout out to my biomedical teacher. I love her so much. She really instilled in me the drive and the determination and the love for the science that I now take with me as I move on to Crucis and into this next chapter. And I am very hopeful to continue to build my love for learning and to continue to improve over these next 4 years. Working with Dr. Andrade, as I mentioned, it was an incredibly enlightening experience. I found collaboration, critical thinking. Me and him would sit together and come up with different hypotheses and diagnoses for patients. And this pathway program gave me the necessary tools I needed to be able to have those conversations with a licensed doctor. We would have a man come in with severe cellulitis on his leg, and I could sit there and be, yeah, that's cellulitis. I know what that is. I know what that does. And those classes helped provide me the background knowledge and the necessary resources I need to come to those conclusions. So I feel like I got a very well-rounded experience, and I experienced everything I possibly could from this program. And I highly encourage anybody who is hesitant or feels trepidations against it to just take the step, dive into it head first. You will get everything that you put into this program. If you put 100% of yourself into it, you will get 110% back. But you have to care, and you have to be willing to learn and want to learn, and you will gain that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eli Willie John, and I'm a senior at Gallup High School. And my pathway was the construction pathway, and I internship for the SWIFT, Southwest Indian Foundation. For one, I would thank the board for funding these career pathways. Not only did you guys give me a little peek interest into the construction trade, you gave me a career in that trade. And with that career, I enjoyed so much about it. Getting my hands dirty, getting splinters, resin on my hand, making tables, benches, dog houses, shelves. And when I got into the internship, I learned my basic skills of basic math, basic woodworking, safety, and resume organization. And for the internship, it was a pretty fun experience. I enjoyed it so much. I would be happy waking up in the morning around 5 o'clock, have a cup of coffee with donut, and just heading to straight work. Yeah, I enjoyed it so much. And every time I would get there, the employees are so so very comforting, very pushing me towards the career, to establish more into the career. And there I learned how to make houses. And Swift, we make it for the reservation, people who don't have homes, water, electricity. We make it for them. And just knowing that relief that you made a house for someone who's going to live in there, make a family, make memories in that house, and even pass it on to the next generation. It was such a fun experience. I wish you guys could be there to experience it yourself. But I really did enjoy it so much, and I appreciate you guys so much. Take care.
Thank you very much. We appreciate these students. They are incredible. We listened to lots of students today, and over the course of the last month, we've had a variety of students that have participated in speaking about their experience in career pathways, what it's done for them, how it's maybe changed their thinking, and we appreciate all of them. Many of them, well, not many, but at least some of them struggled with speaking in public or speaking to a group, and so it's just one of those employability skills that career pathways and the opportunity to participate in them help students with. It's a variety of things. It's not just learning about a specific trade or a specific job. It's about the skills that they learn that are necessary to be a good employee, a good citizen, a good family member, a good student. And as I was listening to these students, I wrote down a few. There could be a lot of words that described what you heard, but for me, and this is the kind of thing that I was hoping it's one day to hear from our students, but I heard confidence that maybe they didn't have as much before, maybe they have more now with respect to their future. Also a level of hope, that they now have some hope in what they want to do and what feels comfortable for them, or maybe the opposite, what doesn't feel comfortable for them, or things that they may not want to be a part of. And they're learning those things now, rather than waiting until after high school to figure that out. And so it's a good option. Also options for their future. I know many students that I've talked to have never thought about going to college or going to a trade school or doing different things after high school, and now they're thinking about those things. And that's one of the statistics that's involved in this work is there's a high probability that students that are in career pathways in high school, that not only will they graduate, there's a drastic increase for graduation, but also a drastic increase in them seeking some sort of postgraduate work after high school, whether it's through training or internship or military, whatever it might be, or college. And so it's another statistic that we looked at as we figured out what more do we need to do as a school district to prepare our students. And lastly, we heard it here, but we also heard with the students earlier. There was also, in some experiences, they learned opportunities for service. Now they could help people. I thought that was an interesting thing that we didn't necessarily spell out in your vision or your goals. But I heard a lot of students talk today and talk here about opportunities to serve other people and the experiences they had and being grateful for what they had and the experience of the internships that they had. Many people have heard, maybe many people haven't, but we also do these internships. We pay them to be part of these internships to help them understand what it's like to be an employee. And there's just so much that goes into it, and our career pathway team has done an incredible job. We have partners that we work with, and we also have a school board that's super supportive of our students and trying to do the best for them. And I want to express also, like they did work, and it's gratifying. At the beginning, I was hoping one day that I could just hear students talk about their experience in high school, not just about math, English, science, social studies, and their favorite elective or sports, but really hear about what they want to do in the future, and hopefully the experiences they have with their staff, with our staff, serving them, hearing them talk about how it's changed their lives for the better. And I heard some of that today. I heard it from all the students today. And I think that's the kind of thing that we've set our students up for the future to be successful and to be able to represent Gallup McKinley County Schools well, but more importantly, do well for themselves and for their families and their future generations. So thank you.
Mr. Martinson?
The board members, if you have any comments,
Yes,
or you may want to ask a question or two. I don't know.
No, we might. Mr. Hyatt, I appreciate it. We might want to hire any of these four just to help me talk my way out of my next speeding ticket. They seem like they could do about anything. Are there any comments from the other board members? Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Mr. Mortensen, and thank you to the students that presented. I kind of did what Mike did and made a list. I heard them say in both sessions, making a difference, as that was mentioned. The experience they got, hope, I also heard that. Being challenged, and communication skills were some of the top that I jotted down as words that were continually be used by our students. I before when we were doing this discussion as board, we got some comments back, we should be investing into our students more with college bound. But I think we all knew firsthand, especially for us in different areas where we live here, that a lot of our students, some of our students, I should say some, don't take that college pathway, and they go straight into the career field due to, a lot of them already at a young age have to start supporting their families or siblings. So I'm so thankful that to see the fruits of our labor, I guess, and the decisions that we make as a board and doing our strategic planning, to see what it is flourishing into. And it really, made me realize that we are on the right path for our students with this career pathway. The other thing that I see, and I pray and I hope for all the time, is that these pathways will also be a way to keep our children away from drugs and alcohol. Those are the things, or keeping that positive frame in their mind that they don't have to deal with any negativity and doubts that they have in their minds, and keeping their mental health stable for them. And I appreciate that we're continuing to do that. And the last thing is, one of the things that I always continue to ask, since we are doing this for our children, getting them into the workforce, it really needs to be, I wish I could say we make it mandatory, but I know that may be stretching it a little too much, but the financial literacy for our children. When they get into the workforce, they need to know what interest rates mean, what mortgage, all these others, how to spend your money, what is a savings account. Because I didn't learn what a savings account was till way down after my second kid, I was like, how am I going to support them? I need something to fall back on. And I wish I would have learned those kind of skills, how to spend my money and how to invest. And, we really need to continue to push those financial literacy things to our children. And the last thing I wanted to say is, I mentioned to the students during the first presentation about a student survey. I really would like to know their opinions on how they feel about this career pathway from the kids' view. We think their opinions really matter. So that's one thing that I would really ask our staff to look at the survey for the career pathways and joggle their minds a little bit of what the intentions of this program will be in the future, especially with our new career technical building program we're going to be building in the future. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Benali. Any other comments from board members? Okay. All right. The next section of our agenda, I'd like to just draw your attention to important dates, reminders of important dates coming up, especially our graduations over the next few days this week. We should be graduating a lot of kids, which is really exciting. Also, there's a handout, and it'll be on the webpage. This is the schedule for all of our board meetings over the next 12 months, and it gives the time and date, and also the date that agenda items are due. If you want to get your name on the agenda for public comment or anything like that, it has all the due dates on there as well. Let's jump down to the next section here, which is new business, and I'll turn the time back over to Mr. Hyatt for that.
Mr. Mortensen, members of the board, 5A, item 5A for new business is a request to use the Gallup High School name, logo, and uniform for the film Resball. It's a Netflix film that is allegedly going to be put together, and this entity is looking to use our name for that particular purpose.
All right, board members, any questions? Or are we ready to jump right into a motion?
Motion to deny the approval of a permission request for the use of the Gallup High School name, logo, and uniform for the film Res Ball.
Okay, second?
Mr. Mortensen, I'm going to go ahead and second that.
Okay. All right, we have a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Benali,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
No.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes. Next item on the agenda, Mr. Hyatt, about the teen court. Can you tell us about this, please?
Sure. Mr. Stokes? Mr. Stokes, would you come up? Mr. Mortensen, members of the board, this is an idea that's been talked about a lot in the past. The pandemic kind of threw a wrench in some of that work. But we had some people that approached us. Mr. Stokes can talk about that a little bit more in starting this up again. We didn't feel like this year was something that we could pull off. But next year, after contemplating this idea, we felt that there could easily be an option that could be beneficial to our students in our district by implementing such a program. So, Mr. Stokes, would you like to talk a little bit more about that option?
Good afternoon, everybody. Superintendent Hyatt, President Mortensen, members of the board. We were approached by Ms. Tana Whitman at the McKinley County Community Services Department.
You have to keep talking in the microphone so that everyone
All right,
on the
there we
internet
go.
can hear
Is that
you.
better?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Regarding an opportunity that we may be able to partner with these folks in the establishment of a teen court. Essentially, a teen court would be an opportunity for students, an added layer to our security, or excuse me, our student discipline policy, which would afford the kids an opportunity to possibly work off a misbehavior, opposed to going straight into something that might be a little deeper, a little more harsh in terms of the consequence. So we're pretty excited about that opportunity. We're deliberating now regarding what that's going to look like. But essentially, I see it as we would make a referral. That approval, or that referral may be approved by the hearing authority here at the district for a student that might have a misbehavior or a repeated series of misbehaviors regarding something that happened at school. So we see it as an opportunity maybe for a student that's really bringing harm on their, or repeated disciplinary instances on their environment. So maybe somebody with cyberbullying, for example, they're negatively contributing to their school, in addition to possibly hurting another student. A teen court referral would go over to Ms. Whitman and her folks, the coordinator over here at teen court, and essentially what that would look like is you would have a jury made up of students. Some may be our students, some may be students from other places, and then you would have a judge. And that case would be heard regarding what that kid did. And instead of going to something more strict, they would have an opportunity then to possibly do some community service and work off that consequence, if that makes sense. And it would be a restorative justice component as well to that. So I went to a mock trial this last Friday down the street, which was very interesting. It seemed like a great opportunity for students to own up to what they did, but give them another chance as well. And that's what we're trying to do, is find a middle ground here for these consequences. And Mr. Hyatt, I don't know if there's any questions from anyone?
Just that I want to make sure the board knew that this wouldn't be applicable to every single disciplinary action that would happen in the district. We'd have to narrow down what things would be appropriate, which things would not be appropriate for this kind of a setting. Obviously, there's a level of confidentiality we have to be careful of, and liability we wouldn't want to incur. But there's a lot of situations where this could actually be beneficial for our students, not only to participate on both sides of the situation, not only to understand how the judicial system works to some extent, but also to hopefully have an experience that helps students rather than talking to adults and then talking to students. Some students are a little bit more easy for them to change their life around when they're talking to their peers rather than having to listen to adults give disciplinary consequences. So,
board members, any questions?
Motion to approve.
I just wanted to say,
Can
in
we-
the past,
One second, Ms. Benali. Mr. Long, can we ask some questions first before we get into the motion? Okay. All right, there's a motion to approve. Is there a second to approve this before we start? Second. All right, Ms. Benali.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to say, I've seen this in the past with different schools, and also, I think that we also had it here at one point, and I think it's also in tribal courts that I've also seen it work in other tribes, and it's been very beneficial to students, interacting with students, as Mr. Hyatt said, and I just wanted to make that comment, and I hope it is structured in detail that, as Mr. Hyatt said, that confidentiality and, all that is in place. And I think it'd be a good program again.
Mr. Stokes, are there, it's a teen court, so are there teen jury and teen attorneys and everything like that? Like, how does that work in practice?
President Mortensen, members of the board, Superintendent Hyatt, that's a very good question. There is student jurors. We do have, without getting too much into it, as Mr. Superintendent Hyatt said, the confidentiality, but we do have programs across the district, criminal justice, for example. So those students might be able to act in this capacity from time to time as well. But there's a bailiff who might be a student. In this case, though, however, there's going to be a judge from McKinley County that would oversee this program. The plan would be to have it twice a month. There are other entities involved, other entities making referrals into this program. We would just be another arm to that.
A real judge from the county?
That is what we're going to be starting with.
That's what I'm talking about.
And it really, truly is a good opportunity to one, hold students accountable for the misbehavior, but also give them another opportunity in many of these cases to work off and learn some lessons along the way regarding those misbehaviors.
So if there's a judge involved from the county, then do the students act more like a jury, or okay, I understand.
They do. There will be deliberation. Students will deliberate. There is a matrix. There's a discipline matrix with teen court. So based on the particular infraction, there'll be guidelines as to what they can recommend for a consequence, and the judge could overrule that as well.
And the judge will have sentencing guidelines or whatever based on whatever they're there for, discipline.
That is correct.
Okay, super. Any other questions? All right, Joan, we have a motion and a second. Can you roll call, please?
Ms. Benali?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen?
Yes. All right, next item is the tentative agreement here. All right.
All right. President Mortensen, members of the board, I'd like to invite up the Gallup McKinley County School negotiating team and also the McFuse negotiating team. You probably haven't heard those words in a while. We had a great year this year in negotiating with our local union, McFuse. And before we talk about specific items that we were able to agree upon and present to you for approval, we want to thank McFuse for their efforts, the ease of what it was for us to work together, in my opinion. There was a lot of good discussion about different items that we were negotiating. Both sides understood we're not always going to agree on everything, but we could walk away from issues and maybe put on the plate for another day, put it aside. And I just want to express my appreciation. We've had that experience in the past, and we had a rough patch. But I want to really express individually to each of you, thank you for your student-centered negotiating, which we always look forward to. It was a good experience, and I think beneficial for not only our staff, who are being represented by you, many of our staff, not all, but many, but in the end, beneficial for our students. I want to thank my team also for their efforts and making sure that we try to do the best things for our staff and students. It's not always perfect. Not everybody always perfectly agrees on some of those things. We are not a uniform community as far as everybody is in the same situation. We have a lot of things that we have to consider when we negotiate, not only for our staff, but what effect that has on our students. I know calendar has been a big issue, and we heard from Ms. James today about calendar. And I understand the concerns, and it's not that we didn't have some of those concerns also, and But we also will talk a little bit about some of the ways in which we think we can overcome some of those things. But students are different. Students in the middle of town maybe live across the street from their school, or students that are already on the bus for 2 hours, extending the day significantly for an elementary student. First of all, there's research to show what level of time is appropriate for elementary students, being in a classroom setting or in a learning environment. But also some of our students would be traveling many hours to stay in school, even longer hours, to then travel home many hours to get home. And that's also something that we have to take into consideration also. And so we'll talk a little bit about some of those details. But Ms. Crastone, would you like to say anything before we talk about the individual items? Introduce your team also, I'm sorry.
So thank you. I am Deanna Crastone. I teach English at Crown Point High. We also have Kelly Fernie, who teaches at Red Rock Elementary, and Mayan Taylor, who is a LIDS teacher at Del Norte. And I want to say, when I went into started these negotiations, I have never been a part of this negotiating team. So I was fairly intimidated by Mr. Hyatt and Giovanna and the rest of these guys. I knew Wade Bell for a long time, but it was kind of intimidating. The opportunity I had, my principal gave me to go to Pathways in Kansas City, gave an opportunity, I think, for Mr. Hyatt and I to get to know each other better. He spent time every day talking to the group of teachers from my school that I was a part of. He asked questions that we knew he was genuinely interested in what we had to say and why we were saying it, and it went both ways. So I want to thank Mr. Hyatt's team of everybody for helping us to be more comfortable. Next year, I'm prepared to go into this. I won't be so intimidated and worried about everything. And I've got a good open relationship, I think, with everybody right now, including Mr. Hyatt. So I want to thank them for all of it. I know for the board, it seemed like it took us a long time to get to this, but look we're not even at the end of the school year, and we have an agreement. This has not happened in a long time. And while parents and the board are worried about calendars, so are teachers, because many of us are also parents in the school district. My kids started at Red Rock Elementary, went to Gallup Mid, Mayamura, and both graduated with IEPs from Crown Point High. So, we all are invested not only as teachers and as staff members, but we're also invested because we're parents and we're former parents, and we care about what the students are going on. We care about those kids who are sitting, including Muhammad, who is one of my wonderful kids, and we're glad to be here and being able to do this. So thank you, all of you.
May I ask a quick question?
Yes, sir.
You three are teachers. How do you get to be McFew's representatives?
They asked.
They just ask you to do it?
There's a voting process.
Yeah, well, I'm a firm believer. My dad retired from 21 years in the Navy, and then he went to work for Montana State University, as well as my mom did. They were both union members, 2 different unions. So I learned about unions from them. When one went on strike, the other one didn't cross. We don't do strikes in this state, which is good. But so I learned about that from them. And nobody else wanted to be president, and I think the teachers' union is important. So while I was intimidated, I went ahead and decided to step out of my comfort zone, which is also these guys allowed me to do that during negotiations to do this. So we all were asked by somebody to do this.
I appreciate your effort. I mean, it's obvious to see these kids in Crown Point love you, and that means a lot. That means a lot to us. Miss Massengill, have we been calling you by the wrong name all year long? Okay, all right. We don't have to get into that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to tell my son. My son is in your class also at Red Rock, and it's evident to me that you love him and care for him and for what he's doing, and I appreciate that work that you do, and I really appreciate you coming here and working with us and representing the teachers, and like I said, it's evident that you care about the kids, and we that means the world to us. We really appreciate it.
I think that if we didn't care about kids, then what are we doing teaching? That's my impression. That if we don't care about the students who are seated with us and not only those that are assigned to us, but other students, then what are we doing in the classroom?
Right.
So, yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry to
you.
interrupt
Nope,
you.
you're
Thank
good.
you.
It's up to the next thing.
Yeah, so again, I just want to make sure that you understood the reason we brought them up is, for one, I think to show the unity, but number two, I think in the past we've done this together, and I think it's important to, so we can fully share with what each item entails that we're going to agree upon, hopefully, so that you are fully informed. You can hear both perspectives. And so, Ms. Hanks, would you like to go over each item and we have a discussion on the things that we tentatively agreed upon?
Sure. So there is a combined package between the school calendar and compensation. As was mentioned previously by Superintendent Hyatt, there is some unique geographical distances that we face in McKinley County just due to the vastness. We are very proud to serve our 7 distinct communities. And within that, we drive over 2.8 million miles a year with our busing. And many of our kids already, with a given school day, are on the bus for 2 hours or more, one way. So extending the school day beyond that, and then the pressure of the legislature actually increasing the instructional hours this year. So that was a significant legislative change. And so with that, the calendar, you will see an additional 10 instructional days and 10 additional days for teachers. And so with that, what we have proposed is anyone that's moving 10 additional days within the bargaining unit will receive a 12% increase. And then those individuals who are currently on a full year contract length, we're looking at an 8% increase. And so we chose to leverage all of the resources we had in order to do that. As was mentioned, this is not a consideration or a discussion that was taken lightly. Each team really examined the calendar very intently to be sure that we were doing what was best for students given the data that we had, and making sure that our attendance data could be maximized for all students. We know that we will have some challenges on those late start days, and the school sites will be prepared to handle students who come early. The district is aware that that will be a challenge for some individuals, and we will do all that we can to make that a seamless transition. The other policy that we have in front of you is the uniform policy. As many of you know, we have heavily invested in safety district-wide. The safety of our students and staff and everyone who enters our facilities is our utmost priority. And what we found is we have several service personnel that move throughout the district on a regular basis who are seamless in the fact that they do their duty and they get it done, but often they are unrecognized because they are so seamless and efficiently getting their jobs done. And so what that uniform policy will do is for our service personnel that are going out into school sites, they will be easily recognizable. So we will be providing them both shirts and jackets that easily identify who they are. And so these individuals will be maintenance custodians, receiving and delivery warehouse staff. And their opinions were taken into consideration when we made that decision, both on the union side and on the district side. So just know that that also was another policy that we considered very intently, and it is to maximize the safety of everyone involved so that if something happens, when a service delivery personnel is there, those staff automatically know who that person is.
Ms. Hanks, you mentioned the 10 extra days for students and for teachers. I mean, are those separate, or it's the same days we're talking about, the same 10 days?
So President Mortensen, members of the board, teachers do have a longer contract length than the instructional days. As licensed professionals, they have many things they have to do to prepare for the school year and relevant professional development that's necessary. So they do work a little bit longer than the students actually attend school.
Tell me a little bit about these late start days and what will be going on at the school site during that late start.
Sure, President Mortensen, members of the board. Our teachers work very efficiently with other staff members, including school site membership, and looking at the data, looking at various components that are going in. You know, teaching is a very technical science. Many people may not view it that way, but it actually is a very technical science, and you have to ongoingly review data to be sure that every student in that classroom is getting what they need. And that could be co-collaboratively working with counseling, that could be talking about attendance, that could be talking about, okay, the entire class is missing this entire standard, what are we going to do to realign what we're doing in order to get it back on track? And so they need that collaborative work time in order to provide the best services possible. And that takes an entire staff of people really working together as a well-oiled machine in order to deliver that. So they need time to work together on that.
Do non-instructional staff have to be there early as well? And if so, what will they be doing?
Sure. So, President Mortensen, members of the board, there will be various tasks ongoing, depending on individuals' roles. As was previously mentioned, the district understands that we may have students coming prior to the actual start time on that day, and we will make sure that we have staff in place to ensure that those students have a place to be until school starts with productive activities.
All right, that's great. So some productive stuff for them to do. Okay, so I mean, what, like tutoring, homework, extra?
To be
enrichment
determined.
activities?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's similar to what
And
you're
it'll
talking
really
about.
need to be differentiated based upon the needs of that school. When we say we serve 7 distinct communities, we also serve 32 unique schools. We serve, we make sure and differentiate the services that we provide to the best capacity possible because we're serving individual students. Each one of our students is unique and wonderful, and we have to make sure that our services, to the best of our ability, are designed that way.
So if I take my kids to school, I can take them to school at the same time on those late start days, and there'll be something for them to do there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen, thank you very much. I really want to thank the team, negotiating team, for the consideration of, especially for our students in the rural area. I'm a representative of the Rue and Rama area, and I know those students. Some of my students out from Smith Lake, Mariano Lake, they get up, 6 o'clock and get on the bus at 6:30. And, there's that, like you said, the hour and a half drive to school. For a little one like my granddaughter right there, that's tough. It is tough on them. And, I'm thankful for that consideration. I know it'll hinder some individuals, but having the best interest of our students is the most important to us. And I appreciate, again, the Navajo Sovereignty Day on there as an indigenous Navajo woman, the Neh woman, that always comforts my heart and makes me feel proud when we have that day recognized by our district that's, predominantly the Neh people, and I appreciate that from all of you guys. The other thing that I just want, I'm sure you guys know this, but our school calendar being the biggest district, a lot of people depend on that. And I know you guys are saying it's not the end of the year, but we would like it sooner if possible next year. Just because a lot of BIE schools, tribally operated schools, universities, and not I know our parents want it too, but other entities go by our schedule. They try to pick the same spring breaks and stuff like that with us, so their students won't have, like my granddaughter's out already. Her school is ended, and we have some siblings that will hold their kids back because their other ones aren't going to school. So I think that's why they try to correlate as much as they can together. And the last thing I wanted to mention is, we did a lawsuit on this because of the at-risk students that we have. And, we need those extra 10 days to continue to help our children that need that help. And, and it hurts me when we say it's like a fluff day, like a day that we're not doing anything. I mean, those days are important to get an education. If that's the time to utilize and bring our fine arts back into the classroom, art, music, something that they don't get when they in school. Some don't even have band anymore. Just getting creative with those days, I think would be something that would be more beneficial, because I'm already hearing that now. We're not doing anything in school. Why are we going to school? We're not doing anything. And that shouldn't be the case, because every day matters. But if we can get creative in the way we're doing these extra 10 days and incorporating some additional fun stuff, that would be great. But I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
President Mortensen, could I make a couple comments really
Yes,
quick,
sir.
just to make
Yes,
sure
sir,
that we're
please.
looking at this in context as far as one of the reasons why we're not as late as usual, but some people consider still late, even though it's been earlier than we've had it for a long time, was mainly due to the legislative session. We knew they were talking about days and hours. They're the ones that mandated a drastic increase in hours. And so we had to wait for that to take place before we could have discussions and really hone in on what we're going to do as a district in conjunction with the union. And just to put in, I think, what was before? Elementary students were required by law to be, is it 980?
990.
990. And it went up to 1140. I mean, we're approaching almost 20% increase in time, and how to fit that in, given all of the logistical situations and other appropriate learning environment and time considerations. It was a little bit more complex. In addition, we also had significant number of students missing school on Friday due to the half day, which was one of the considerations. If there's a way to, so I think it was about a 3-hour professional development time. We shrunk it down to 2.5 hours, and then tried to add that into 2 of the days, so that we could also hopefully influence better attendance in some ways, with the consideration of helping those parents who need to go to work with their students, or who need a more consistent schedule, figuring out how to help them at the same time. And so that's another thing. As far as the filler time, I actually addressed that today with principals, and I'm looking at all principals. I actually have a meeting today again to discuss with each of them about this particular concern that we heard from public comment, that we also heard from some others today. I'm very disturbed if we have staff or principals allowing that. Instruction should happen until the end of the year. It shouldn't just be fun time. I would actually add on to that, should be learning time, maybe with a fun twist. If you want to add that in, that's fine. We want it to be engaging for our students, and so this will not be, in my opinion, or if somebody can go work in another district, as far as I'm concerned, if they see the last extra 10 days as a waste of time. And so that means we need to do a better job as a district. And so that's an adult problem that I see in the district that we need to correct right now. And it's not focused on students, it's focused on adults. And so I'm addressing that this morning, and I'm going to address it again this afternoon. The last thing I just wanted to mention, this has nothing to do with this agreement whatsoever, but I'm going to publicly do it, and then we'll put it in writing also, is that given the continual problem with internet access for our families, we're not going to do any virtual days next year. We still have too many students that are struggling with internet access. We were told that would be fixed. It's not going to be fixed. We have some options and potential solutions for the future, but it's going to take some time so we can ensure that all students have internet access. But next year we will only be doing cancellations for next year. And so I wanted to make sure that we had a discussion about that. It was one of the action items, and I gave the commitment on our end that we wouldn't do virtual days next year. And it came down to a student issue, a student need, and that's who we serve, and so that's why those decisions are being made for them. So again, I just want to put a few things in context as far as what happened legislatively. That many hours is a lot of hours in a school year. If you're going from 980 to almost 20% increase, that's drastic. I mean, it's about 15%, but still, it's a lot of time to shove into the day and then extend the day. And so we're going to be as creative as we possibly can to better serve our students, and we also hope to see better attendance with this change.
Mr. Hyatt, when the legislation, when the state, when they tell us to go, I mean, when they make when they pass legislation that changes the hours like that, I mean, is there an option? They're just like, this is how it's going to go, period?
Mr. Mortensen, there's some flexibility that we have, and we did use some of that flexibility to kind of not make those all student hours. So we did have some flexibility in doing that. Again, we have some logistical problems. We have some time in classroom, what's appropriate, especially at elementary level. Actually, it wasn't too long ago. I remember when I taught in the district, secondary students started at 9, at least where I taught. And so that was normal, and that was based off research of when, specifically secondary students, when the best learning period of time in a day is for them, and that typically starts at 9 o'clock. And I also want a little clarification. It says 75 minutes. That's not set necessarily hard and fast for every single school. We have the logistics of busing and those types of things. And so it'll be a little different than a perfect 75-minute difference. I think in many cases it'll be less than that, because some of that time is teacher time that they're on the clock versus student time. And so that student 75 minutes may not perfectly pertain to students coming at 75 minutes later, but more so staff starting school 75 minutes later from when they start. And so which could be earlier, or starting their work outside of professional development. So I just want to make sure that clarification is in there.
Will there be a time difference between when like our secondary schools start and what time in the morning our elementary schools start?
There always is some difference because of busing.
Right.
And different communities are different depending on bus routes and those types of things. So it's always different. And we can share that right now. Like you can see right now, if you were to look at our schedules of when school starts, it's varied across the district depending on the needs of that community or the busing routes, whatever it might be. You could go earlier, but then you're picking up students in Sega. Some of our students are riding the bus 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize that. Maybe a little bit more in some cases.
So that
it's
time
pretty
start
significant.
is generally kind of a logistics thing. Okay, that makes sense. Did you have another comment down there, Ms. Benal?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Martinson. Again, Giovanna, you mentioned the uniforms or shirts and jackets, maintenance, warehouse staff, and who else, ma'am?
Custodians.
Custodians. But they will be given that. They don't have to use that out of their own pocket. Okay.
That is correct, ma'am. That will be provided by the district.
Okay, and how about for teachers and they're just
No, it's not.
So no, those were the individuals targeted, again, that service related. And the reason why is really because they're going into a school site where maybe they only go in either a couple times a year or a couple times a week. And so the purpose is the visibility so that the school site knows exactly who that person is on site.
I would add, it's not just security, it's also
security too?
It's not only for security reasons, it's also for the individual employees that they have appropriate attire for the work that they're doing. And so, the wearability, whether it's a jacket or whether it's a certain kind of material, if employees are doing a lot of work as far as whether it's maintenance versus the warehouse might look a little bit different. But we're going to be contracting services to provide those uniforms for them and to take care of those uniforms also. So.
Ms. Benali, we have these uniforms at a couple places that I've worked at. I grew up working at Jiffy Lube, and then we have it now with my plumbers and my guys at work, and it works great. They're able to look professional and have a clean uniform every day. If they get something on their clothes, throughout the course of their day, it's easy to change and put on a fresh pair. And then the part of the service is to clean it, and so that's something that's taken off of the plate of that employee, that they don't have to worry about cleaning their work clothes anymore, or having to afford specific work clothes.
Right. Mr. Martinson, with all that said, I would like to motion to approve the tentative agreement between GMCS and McFuse for uniform policy and 2023-2024 calendar compensation package.
Second.
All right.
I don't want to belabor this, but I also want to mention this is probably one of the largest. I'm not sure if the union can verify this. I think it's one of the largest increases for staff in the state, or at least one of them.
I checked with AFT in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Cuba is only getting a 6% pay raise that the legislature gave. The same with Los Alamos.
Most of them, yeah.
Albuquerque and Rio Rancho are still in negotiations. I've got a friend in Farmington. I did not check with him. But I've got to say, as far as the uniforms go, I spoke to not only the M&O person, people who come to the union meetings, but M&O who came to my building. And what the safety purpose, if we go into a lockdown and there's some stranger out in the hall and I don't know who he is, chances are I'm going to leave him out in the hall because I don't know. But if he's got that GMCS uniform, I'm going to yank him in to try and protect him as well. I know who my custodians are. I don't know who all these M&O people are. And so from that perspective, all of us are embracing it. The M&O people are embracing it. Our staff at my school are embracing it just because we want to protect our own, and our own, it doesn't matter what department they work in this district. We want to make sure that they're safe as well in case there's an intruder in the building.
Thank you. I hope people around the state and around the country see what we're doing with students and with our staff and these pay increases and increased levels of professionalism. We're always looking for good people, and so tell your friends and your neighbors we're only hiring the best over here at GMCS, and come on over and join the family.
Last summer on teacher pages on Facebook, I was saying, come to us because of that $18,000 to $22,000 bonus. I know Mr. Hyatt's seen some of my previous Facebook things, but this was a
I've
good
wiped them
thing.
all
I'm
out of my
telling people,
mind
come
from
here, come join us,
positive
come be a
forward
part of
thinking.
this, be part of this district because of what's going on. So I'm also reaching out as an English teacher to the English teacher groups and other groups on Facebook. People are going, I'm looking for a job. It's like, come to us. We need you. We desperately need more teachers here. So I'm trying.
Only the good
Thank
ones.
you.
Just bring the good ones.
Yes, only the only the good ones.
Good.
Those teachers who are not teaching right now, I have an issue with, because I plan on teaching my kids till June 1st, because June 2nd, I've got kids who are saying, well, I'm not going to come to school that way. It's like, don't come to school, watch your grade drop. I'm still going to be teaching. That's my job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joan, we have a motion and a second. Can you do a roll call for us, please, ma'am?
Ms. Benali,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for your efforts. We appreciate you. We'll get you to talk more next time. All right, the next item on the agenda here.
Mr. Mortensen.
Chair.
Yes, sir.
Before the last
Mr.
item,
Chair.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, maybe that's what Mike was going to say. This last item has to be dealt with after the executive session.
Okay,
And
I
I
will
want to
entertain a
move-
motion.
Move to go into executive session.
And a second?
Second.
Second. Roll call, please, Joan.
Ms. Benali,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes.
2:39.
Yeah. Hey, Andy, you're here. Good afternoon.
Why did you choose McKinley Academy?
I chose McKinley Academy because I can graduate with an associate's degree.
I'm graduating with 3.
I'm saving my parents loads of cash.
And free lunch.
Did you know we can still be part of our homeschool events?
Oh, cool, so I still get to play all my sports.
Join McKinley Academy.
Reading is a simple and effective way to improve yourself because it strengthens brain activity, a sense of accomplishment,
Teaches you new things.
Impacts good values.
Exercises the brain.
helps you find focus and concentration,
Reduces stress.
Improves memory. Benefits critical thinking skills.
Helps you find a passion.
Makes you more well-rounded and knowledgeable.
Promote self-care.
Improves vocabulary.
gives you perspectives.
Improves your mental well-being.
It's cool and it makes you a better you.
Gallup McKinley County Schools is proud to offer free admission to all mid and high school athletic sporting events. This doesn't include district, state playoff, or regular tournaments.
Come on out and support your student athletes at Gallup McKinley County Schools.
Get ahead of the curve at McKinley Academy. Located on the campus of UNM Gallup or Navajo Technical University, McKinley Academy is a 4-year college prep and dual enrollment program for students grades 9 through 12. If you're a motivated student looking to accelerate your future, McKinley Academy is for you.
Ultimately, the goal is to finish high school with an associate's so I could have that jump start into college. You know, I could save money, save lots of time.
Enroll today and you could graduate from high school with an associate's degree, and you'll get a jump start on life at McKinley Academy. Get ahead of the curve at McKinley Academy. There are 22 programs to choose from nursing to information technology to science. And best of all, your degree is free. Get up to 1, 2, or 3 years of college credits that you can transfer to a 4-year institution at no cost. You'll also be provided with a free laptop, books, daily lunch, and more. And you'll be bused from wherever you live in the district to UNM Gallup or Navajo Technical University. With McKinley Academy, your family will save thousands of dollars, and you'll get a jump start on life.
Why did you choose McKinley Academy?
I chose McKinley Academy because I can graduate with an associate's degree.
I'm graduating with 3.
I'm saving my parents loads of cash.
And free lunch.
Did you know we can still be part of our homeschool events?
Oh, cool, so I still get to play all my sports.
Join McKinley Academy.
Reading is a simple and effective way to improve yourself because it strengthens brain activity, a sense of accomplishment.
Teaches you new things.
Impacts good values.
Exercises the brain.
Helps you find focus and concentration.
Reduces stress.
Improves memory.
Benefits critical thinking skills.
Helps you find a passion.
Makes you more well-rounded and knowledgeable.
Promotes self-care.
Improves vocabulary.
Gives you perspectives.
Improves your mental well-being.
It's cool and it makes you a better you.
Gallup McKinley County Schools is proud to offer free admission to all mid and high school athletic sporting events. This doesn't include district, state playoff, or regular tournaments.
Come on out and support your student athletes at Gallup McKinley County Schools.
Get ahead of the curve at McKinley Academy. Located on the campus of UNM Gallup or Navajo Technical University, McKinley Academy is a 4-year college prep and dual enrollment program for students grades 9 through 12. If you're a motivated student looking to accelerate your future, McKinley Academy is for you.
Ultimately, the goal is to finish high school with an associate's, so I could have that jump start into college. I could save money, save lots of time.
Enroll today and you could graduate from high school with an associate's degree, and you'll get a jump start on life at McKinley Academy. Get ahead of the curve at McKinley Academy. There are 22 programs to choose from nursing to information technology to science. And best of all, your degree is free. Get up to 1, 2, or 3 years of college credits that you can transfer to a 4-year institution at no cost. You'll also be provided with a free laptop, books, daily lunch, and more. And you'll be bused from wherever you live in the district to UNM Gallup or Navajo Technical University. With McKinley Academy, your family will save thousands of dollars, and you'll get a jump start on life.
Why did you choose McKinley Academy?
I chose McKinley Academy because I can graduate with an associate's degree.
I'm graduating with 3.
I'm saving my parents loads of cash.
And free lunch.
Did you know we can still be part of our homeschool event?
Oh cool, so I still get to play all my sports.
Join McKinley Academy.
Reading is a simple and effective way to improve yourself because it strengthens brain activity, a sense of accomplishment.
Teaches you new things.
Impacts good values.
Exercises the brain.
Helps you find focus and concentration. Reduces stress.
Improves memory.
Benefits critical thinking skills.
Helps you find a passion.
Makes you more well-rounded and knowledgeable.
Promotes self-care.
Improves vocabulary.
Gives you perspectives.
Improves your mental well-being.
It's cool and it makes you a better you.
Board members, I'll entertain a motion to return from executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Benali and
Yep.
Schaaf second. Okay, Ms. Benali,
Yes.
Mr. Schaaf,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes.
319.
Just to report on our executive session, there was no decisions, no decisions made, no action taken in our executive session. So let's go on to new business item D.
Mr. Mortensen, I would like to go ahead and motion to approval of the Board of Education authorizing legal action against eCycle New Mexico to recover the school district's property, to recover compensation for the sale of school district property.
Second.
Thank you. All right, roll call, please.
Ms. Benali,
Yes.
Mr. Schaaf,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes. All right, that concludes our business. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, a second.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Benali,
Yes.
Mr. Schaaf,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Mortensen.
Yes.
320.
All right, we're adjourned.